Ready enough.
Ready. Oh boy.
Yeet.
Session 1. There you go. Congratulations, you made it. One person will make it. However, this very moment, it's only 4. It's fine. It's cuff. It is what it is. Welcome to another campaign. You thought the previous ones are gonna be wacky. Hold on. My best advice for you. But with that being said, and with no real introductions will be made in character. I have to ask one simple question. Are you ready to begin for the first time in your new adventure?
Let me roll for that.
Let's go.
12. I think I'm ready.
So with that being said, there you go. So, for some, it's been a very interesting time. For some, you barely remember anything about yourself in the past. And for some, it is a headache. The year is 282 of the 5th era. Calamities come and go. Hey, speaking of calamities, somebody joined in.
My apologies for being late.
Hold on a second.
We literally just started.
Yes, we did. Yes. So, year 282, 5th era. The world had its own little calamities. Almost a decade ago, the sky broke. About 5 years ago, something occurred of a demonic invasion, but minor. Nothing to be terrified or afraid of. However, nor the sky breaking nor the demons invading has nothing to do with why any of you here are. Sick. I would like each and every one of you roll me an initiative check. You're not in combat, however, you're all pressed for time, one way or the other, as you all have your own little goals that you wish to do today on June 19th of 282. The city of Negda, in the deserts of the Kah'fir, the capital of the Back Sea, the jewel of deserts, the seat of power of the region, and one of the biggest deserts of the world. There you go.
Wow. It already begins.
That's 2 nat 20s at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, for a good 30.
Oh. Well, that's to be it does kind of make sense. I am not gonna lie. The place that all of you, one way or the other, that making your way for the early morning, is the Kajo Adventuring Guild. Kalis, give me a second, let me get your image up, because you're still without an image. You have been told about the information of a missing caravan that may or may not hold something you'd whole deer that has went missing, and that there is gonna be people sent potentially to retrieve or figure out what happened to the said caravan. See, will you actually show up properly? You will. There you go.
Yippee.
Yippee, indeed. Nevertheless, you given instructions of where to find it and basically scouting the place the night before, but of course too late, and told that it's gonna open at 8 in the morning. You basically at the first light await. Just wait an hour early and chill and hope that somebody will pass by or enter the building. For now it's still closed, and you can get the information you seek about this caravan. You by all means would be there first, the closest and the earliest. Not even the guards, not even the staff in the front or the back doors are present. Is there any way you would try to pass time?
Me?
No. I'm talking about Kalis.
Kalis.
Yes, Kalis.
Kalis isn't much one for standing around. But then again, neither does he have much else to do in this current moment. As he as he seems to just watch people as they walk by, uh,
That was lag spike, yeah.
it paused for a second. Sorry.
It's fine.
Did you hear what I said?
You're just looking around at people kind of walking by.
Yeah. Kind of scowling.
Well, out of nowhere, an individual manifests. Or more so appears. Lester, you made yourself present in front of the place you were summoned, if you were a bit too early. A few minutes, nothing too significant, although it's kind of unprofessional. But you don't really think anybody would really care. Although you do see, I guess, Kalis, how do you look? Because you're basically the sole person by the door, just kind of waiting for someone.
To a passing individual, he would look like a bouncer, as he has this big, heavy, like, great axe on his back, and wearing, well, I guess for the area, very common clothes and travelers and such. And, has his arms crossed, and he's just glaring people down as they walk by, though it doesn't seem to be like a conscious act of being angry at everything. Just a resting expression.
And Lester, what does Kalis see as he just kind of pop?
You see in brown-haired, blue eyes halfling just face deep in a book. He knows where he's going. Or he's slow as he's looking up from the book. He's kind of has like green vest, little bow around his collar and all that stuff. So and looks very well traveled, though. Like, he's just minding his own business, not really observant of the world. So, as he walks in, it's like, and he's gonna walk into the place.
The
that he's
place
going.
is the place is closed. You
It's
try to
closed?
open it, it's closed.
Hey, so, are there watches or clocks?
Looking,
world.
look, yes, in this world,
Yeah.
of course, there are clocks.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
no. Well, then he's gonna Well, then he's going to take out his pocket watch, look at it, say, and just stand by the door.
yeah, you're about 7 minutes too early for the establishment's official.
Right on time.
Yeah, and now there's just two of you just awkwardly standing by basically a double wooden door.
Look, like, you here for the job, or are you just making sure nobody gets in?
I'm here looking for someone. If the job leads me there, I take the job.
What about 7 minutes early?
As
I just want to
as
get comfortable.
as Blester mentions the time, Kalis just instinctively looks up towards the sky, kind of noting where the sun is, or sunrise.
By all means, the sun is quite up in the sky.
Oh, where are my manners? Name's Blester.
Kalis kind of nods, a little bit of a exasperated sigh, and says, Kalis.
Very interesting name. It's like, so now there's awkward silence.
Yes.
now.
A grim cloak. Devil, if you're present.
Yes.
You, as everything was agreed upon, you approach the street where the institution of the Kajo Adventures Guild is, and you're just kind of see two individuals kind of standing by the door. Not guards. You've been here before. They don't have guards. There's really nothing to guard here, but they're seemingly kind of waiting, idling. You can clearly see that the guild is not open at the moment. What would you like to do?
I first approach the door, and then I notice it. Well, of course, I notice it's locked. And then I look at the other two. I just observe them for a moment from behind the mask. I see that half is reading a book, so they are clearly some sort of. So I'm gonna presume there's some sort of scholar or someone studying. And Kalis, are you still scowling?
That should be a bygone question by now.
Okay.
Yes.
Permanent scowl, got it. Yeah. For hours at a time, yeah. Don't worry, my character's he's already wearing a mask with a smile, so it's already a mysterious fella. So there's a scowling everyone, and
A big nerd.
of
He's got the
types
big
of-
ring glasses too.
Okay, yeah. I'm looking at Kalis. Okay. Well, the Grim Cloak is just gonna lean against the wall next to the door. doesn't even say a word. He's just observing the area. It's early in the morning. That's all he's doing.
Well, takes a few minutes, and all of a sudden, you do see both Bluster, Kalius, sounds of something like a hatch or something out of the building, and then heavy footsteps, slowly but surely approaching the door. And a few moments after, a few clacks, the locks twisting and turning, the door opens up quite heavily, and you see a dwarf on the other side, seemingly mainly to just look at the street, but then kind of gets a bit startled seeing as both of you just kind of standing by the door. Hello? Kind of looks at you, Bluster, looks at you, Kalis. Oh. You must be for, the tasks, the expedition.
Aye, that bit's true.
Kalis only nods.
He all of a sudden grabs a few pieces of paper, seemingly basically broken from actual books. Seemingly gives a quick read. Any of you? He kind of looks at Kalis when he says, "Is any of you?" And then looks at you, Bluster. You must be Bluster, I assume.
That I am.
Very good, very good. And your name would be, sir? He kind of looks back at you, Kalis.
Kalis.
Right. Okay. Welcome to the Cardio Guild, Negda Division. He kind of opens the door wide. Get yourself a bit comfortable. We're waiting for a few more individuals.
And I step up to the dwarf, probably from his side. Unless the door hit me in the face.
This dwarf is getting sneak attacked by like 3 guys at the door.
He kind of looks at you. Hello. You're here for the job as well.
Indeed, I have come for the job.
Name?
Simply Grim Cloak.
Actual name or alias?
Alias.
Nods. Alright. And then he kind of opens the door and kind of leaves it wide open. Inside you see basically simple, basic rooms. What seems to be an office area with drawers, a bunch of paper, whatnot, a handful of maps of the desert's area, and then just almost like a waiting place, simple table with a few old pieces of literature and just a few questionable comfortability chairs. Any of you gonna take a seat or just gonna stand around and wait?
I'm gonna take a seat.
I'm also gonna take a seat.
Kalis just stands.
Well,
So
I look at the half. I'm going to look at the halfling, and then I'm going to ask. So, what is it you study, halfling?
Oh, archaeology.
A respectable trait. Learning about the
About
past.
18 years of it.
Very
I, in fact,
knowledgeable.
was one of the first. I was, in fact, the one to discover the existence of proto-giants.
Huh. That is a very I accomplish.
Indeed it is. And, sorry, didn't quite catch your name.
Grim Cloak.
Ah, a mysterious type, I see. And what is it you do?
I am gathering information. That is all you need to know for now.
Ah, gotcha.
Unless you have information for me about... the demonic types.
Only bits and pieces. Never taken one of them adventures before.
Understandable.
An
Either
invasion
way.
of such happened not long ago. A few years.
Happened right around where I grew up, no doubt.
Kalis's comment to Grimcloak casually has like the kind of inspection of a question, though it's not worded as such. He's
So-
prodding at Grimcloak.
So what did you say exactly? Because
An
you got cut off.
invasion of such happened a few years back, not long ago.
Indeed. I heard it was swiftly dealt with. See, you can, but you know what, Kalis, if you want to prod more, you could maybe, if you, DM, I'm gonna ask, can you roll an insight on me to see if I'm hiding something?
You can, I guess.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't think I'm beating that with my deception, but let's try anyway. Let's have some fun. Deception. Why the fuck did I put deception? Okay. I don't think I'm beating that, but let's see. Nope.
So,
You, Kalish, you could hear in his voice that he is trying to. That even though he says swiftly dealt with, you can hear a bit of anger in that wording. Like maybe it wasn't fast enough.
Missed it, didn't you?
I have seen things.
well, as you're having this conversation, clock strikes 2 minutes past 8 is the morning. Seemingly the said dwarf is either cataloging or grabbing a lot of papers, writing, seemingly doing a handful of stamps, and then another person just comes through the door as it is wide open. Nihilum. You had your rest, and now you had a brief 10-ish, 15-minute walk, and the Kujo Adventuring Guild doors are wide open, seemingly open. And when you peer inside, you do see people are sitting, standing. So clearly, it is open.
Yeah, I would take a look inside, see if I can see any of the staff. If I do, I would walk up to them.
You can clearly see all the what's it called, official zones of where officially staff should be. and you do see one dwarf. Can you actually roll me a history check, Nihilum?
Mm-hmm.
You feel it for a second. You seen this dwarf. Although it's more like a blur, maybe a passing by. You met a lot of people in life. Nevertheless, hearing additional footsteps, the dwarf looks around from his papers to you and almost exclaims, "Ah, and there you are. Good to see you, Nihilum."
Excuse me, do we know each other?
Yes and no. Well, I know your family. I know your work. I know about the controversy that occurred recently. My condolences. My name is Alfie Crook. If memory needs to be jogged for a brief moment, I used to be a tutor in Cali for most of my life, and about 6-7 months ago, I moved here because of the recent discoveries, as you're quite aware, I assume, lady.
Surely. Some assumption is correct. You're the one who sent me that letter.
No. I have sent you references of the findings and to many of my pupils, colleagues, and what have you. I haven't sent you any recent letters, no. He all of a sudden just kind of looks a bit around, almost make sure through his almost like a ledger. No, it's been 2.5 months ago that I sent something towards the direction of your household.
Yeah, then she would take out the letter with the weird paper, look at it again. So this isn't from you.
Shakes his head. No. What is this anyway? For those who have any curiosity to look at Nihilim, you basically see a very odd piece of paper. It is less paper, more like a very thin sheet of metal, bronze, something a bit more orange in coloration, but seemingly flexible, like paper. Aluminum foil, kinda.
Well, then she would put the letter back and say, "Well, that's quite all right. I'm sure I'll figure it out. Thanks again."
Well, we would. Well, technically, Oh, he scratched his head. I was mainly waiting for Mr. Bluster over there. He kind of points at you, Bluster. There's been a bit of an issue, and seemingly since a handful of you have arrived, as I made a private call in this hush hush notion, I could begin, I assume. My hat. Ever since you got to the desert, there's this very interesting beetle with golden wings and warm as to the touch that you've been basically following and or chasing, and that has been actively forcing you to follow it. I have a simple question. As the sensation of chasing this said beetle has changed in you by any means, have you grown tired of it?
What is time? What really is the difference between yesterday and next year? You know, his mentality has not changed.
I see. Nevertheless, in that case, all of you hear a sound of clattering, like a large bug somewhere in the vicinity. As you do see a massive, not massive, but like a size of a thumb beetle just kind of fly into the halls of the guild, and following past quite close is, well, I guess my head describe how you look.
You see a 3.5-foot scrawny-looking gnome of more darker complexion and a dust-piled robe on. Oh, come back! Come back! I almost got you! You can't run away forever! And as he runs across, as the bug runs across, he jumps over the stool, jumps off the stool to grab it.
Well, he basically goes to the center and just kind of stops. He doesn't descend or drop to the floor. He just kind of floats midair and is allowing itself to be caught by you now.
I have you at last! Where am I?
Have I ever seen a beetle like that before?
You can roll me a nature check or a history check. It's up to you. Decide. The characteristics of the beetle look very simple, basic. Although the horn shape is weird. You've never seen its kind before. Although it's not exactly something insane.
DM, now that I'm looking at this, can I make a second attempt to check at this? Now that I have it in my firm grasp.
What would you like to figure out about the said beetle?
Magic, shiny, pokes.
Okay.
Arcana or nature, whatever you let me make.
Arcana or nature. You can choose both.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, one of
and
them.
I will choose Arcana. And I will flash your genius because I can.
Schizophrenia moment. A 27.
This is yellow eyes gaze at it.
You realize it is of some magical property. It is incredibly sturdy and it has intelligence, but it's not unnatural intelligence. It's a husk, but the husk or something inside the husk is observing you.
Knock. I see you. He looks directly to the beetle's eyes.
Well, Alfie just kind of looks at you, Mahet, and you see this slightly open jaw of, do I yell and say get out? Or as he kind of clears his throat, good sir,
No! I am hit! He kind of walks over, he puts the beetle in his pocket and goes to shake his hand furiously.
yes.
Nice to meet you! What is your name?
My name is Alfie Crook.
Alfie Crook. Nice to meet you. I am Mahet.
He just nods slowly.
Loud.
A seat. He walks over and sits down.
Okay. Well, he kind of clears his throat, and passive insight from all of you except for Mahit because he's oblivious. He has 2 orders of business. Tell you what the deal is, and then probably call the guards for the dispelling of Mahit from the grounds. Nevertheless, Alfie just kind of rubs his hands to his hands quite firmly, takes a deep breath. Now back to business at hand. As Lady Linnea might have known, and bless her, perhaps you have been told, the deserts of the surrounding area, well, the entire region of Kah'fir, to be exact, has started to produce anomalies of sorts. Treasures, buildings, random trinkets and relics appearing in the desert sands. Not of natural means, although it do happen after a sandstorm, let's say you. A handful of relics and precious artifacts have been discovered, that are now being analyzed with fervor. And now the Empire, a few weeks back, taking it official business that all goods found in the desert are that of the Empire's property. No private collectors, no renegade adventure seekers, nothing like that. However, the search for the artifacts continues, for the relics, for their positions, and he kind of gives a few glances through his notes. About 4 days ago, one such spot has been discovered, only 2 days away from the city, westward, a bit southwestern to be exact. And it was a pretty simple operation of reconnaissance, observation, cataloging, and recovery of any and all trinkets, relics, and what have you. They have gone missing. Well, not exactly missing, but more... They have ways of communication. The communication is easily accessible through the desert via magical means, yet no one responds. As it is Empire's business, these relics, I cannot call upon the local individuals for the sake of untrustworthy nature and chance of that relics and goods to be taken by non-Empire officials. Thus, I asked about for respected individuals. The more experienced, the more revered, the better. The ones that are loyal to the Empire. And he kind of gives a wide look to all 4 of you. Kind of looks at my head a bit, then shakes his head.
He waves friendly.
Well, some of you have answered the call. I respect that. There were more individuals that have been
nods.
called. There have been more individual that I beckon for answering, but nobody has arrived yet. And time is of the essence, for we do not know how quickly these said new ruins might disappear. Much time we have, and of course, the information about the expedition is paramount.
We should be off immediately then. This seems important.
He kind of looks at my head, looks back at all of you. Yes, I have procured horses and supplies for at least a week in advance. More than enough for 4 individuals.
4, enough for all of us.
Alfie just kind of looks at you in my head, and he's slightly losing his patience. Nevertheless, that is the gist of it. There will be one additional guide accompanying you who will provide you with the exact location of said ruins. Trusted individual. Not much I can really answer when it comes to what is the situation otherwise.
That's part of the fun now, ain't it?
Exactly. We're the experts here. We'll figure it out.
I see.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Do we need specific paperwork to prove we are with the guild?
No. The only information about the whereabouts of the ruins are only known for a select few.
That is fortunate to know.
Kind of nods his head. Well, if you have nothing else to ask of me, then I would suggest for you to make your way towards the western part of the city.
I do have one thing when you get a moment.
Yes?
I am looking for a girl. Bright red hair. Fiery. Named Bridget. Did she come through here?
He kind of... You see that the name flashes almost a look of remembrance. All of a sudden he looks back at the papers, goes through a bit, and seemingly huffs a bit and gives himself a nod of acknowledgement. Aye. Young, redhead, gifted, recently recruited. In fact, was with expedition to the ruins.
There's the slightest bit of a smile as he mentions that she's gifted. But he nods. That is all.
If you wish to head to the Willow Grounds westward, they will provide you with the horses and a guide to lead you to the ruins. If you have any other questions, you may ask now. And I assume, he kind of looks when he says, I assume to you, Blester, when you find any relevant information about the ruins, you can contact me forthwith. About the state of the ruins, the state of the expedition party.
Yes, I very much have the means.
Good. Good. That would be
One last question.
yes.
She kind of lowers her tone and to whisper and points at my head. Is he going to come with us?
Oh, are you
Head
pointing at my
hearing this
head?
with a passive perception of 24.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. This sounds fun.
He kind of leans a bit closer. My head, you can still hear him. I will call upon the guards to, apprehend.
No,
Okay,
No, no.
raise it.
that won't do. That won't be necessary. We'll bring him along. One thing I've learned on an expedition is you always have to have some fun, and this guy oozes fun.
Can you roll a persuasion?
Kalis kind of stares at Blester for a moment, and then looks to the dwarf like, and in a voice that while
Take a
is
plus
still
5.
quieter, and
See this?
while Mahet can still hear it, he can barely just hear it. Kalis says, "If they get into trouble, I'll pull them out." Helping Bluster with that persuasion.
Sure. Just a roll persuasion. Listen.
And did you
I just want to see
did you
persuasion
say
before I
plus
do-
5 as well?
Yeah.
Oh, good, because he's not
As
good
my
at
head just
persuasion.
stares intensely at me.
Jesus fucking
At,
Christ!
like,
At
25.
25,
18.
25.
Yeah.
He kind of blinks in confusion. I suppose you can.
Don't worry, it's for the plot.
And
for the plot.
he wants to almost utter words, but why? But he keeps his mouth shut. As he looks upon you, Blesser, and there's this not recollection, but more like a, you know what you're doing. I'm not gonna question it.
Then I have put out a hand towards my head. It's like, welcome to the crew. What was your name again?
My Zionist.
Wonderful. Well,
He just smiles absently.
we best be off.
You see this group clown staring into the distance. Not really showing much emotion, but he's thinking something.
So,
West side, you said?
yes, west side in the Rillo grounds. Oh yeah, you need the image. You need the map. I didn't send. Did that?
No, you did not.
Hold on a second. Give me a moment. God. Yeah. There you go. And there you go. Enjoy. There's Negda. Massive egg.
Nice.
Let's see. The Willow Grounds. Where's the Willow Grounds? Oh, this is. There it is. Oh, the Rillo Grounds, not the Willow.
Rillo, yes. Almost like an armadillo, but it's a Rillo.
Okay, that's where we have to go.
So you're just gonna head out?
Oh, yes. If
Uh,
everybody else is ready, too.
yeah, no questions, no nothing. You're just gonna head out?
Well, we said we take care of, so I might as well just go for it.
That's fair. So in that case, I would like one of you to roll me a d10.
I'm
Stop
gonna
for
do
the
it.
top.
Go from the top.
Yeah, stop for
Oh,
the
sorry,
toss.
can also do it like that.
On the bottom.
Let's start from the top.
Dos.
2.
Da, 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 da. 2. Damn. Well, put it simply. Oh, wrong image. Ooh. Put it simply, the walk is relatively easy, and there is no real, no real problem. Can everybody roll in perception though?
Perception time. Where's my perception roll?
Since this is traveling, can I use my 24 passive perception deal, please?
Sure.
Oh, dang.
My perception. No, that's
I thought-
persuasion. Yeah, perception. 9.
You know, to put it simply, the streets are pretty busy, full of Khajiit. Tabaxi. Why am I saying Khajiit?
We all meant what you know.
Yeah, I know.
They're
I know.
the same
Yeah,
thing.
I know. Tabaxi. Okay. Oh, okay. So,
She Cavaliers, if you
oh, yes. So, full tabaxi and all that, and everything is pretty simple and nice. The sun is quite high up, and you're making it pretty decently. Mahet, you look around and you feel slightly something, like almost like a intuition of like something is a bit wrong, something is a bit off. And when you try to look around and find the reason why, you look up and you stare at the sun.
classic old man behavior.
You stare at the sun, and for some reason you cannot shake a feeling that something is wrong with it.
The sun, it's watching.
Everybody else, you basically realize that Mahet is kind of standing now, quite behind, looking at the sky, looking at the sun, not really blinking.
If we
My
walk
head does not
faster
blink a
now,
lot.
maybe he can't follow us.
If he keeps staring like that, he will go blind.
I'm blind.
Kalis kind of shades his eye as he looks up, trying to follow his gaze.
He seems to be staring directly at the sun, which, mind you, it is a bit like redder than, say, the home you came from. It's just a bit different coloration. That's all. It's gonna, and you know, it's kind of like blazing heat, and it's kind of making you sweat because it's you're literally in the desert, and kind of looking at it, it kind of makes your eyes twitch because you know it's painful to look at the sun. Mahit, however, seems Mahit seems to have no difficulty, however.
Some say the mad can see things others can't.
Well, can't waste too much time staring at it. Mahet,
Someone said my name.
yeah. I'm sure that the sun is fine. Let's get going.
All right, Jester.
Jester.
It's blessed.
Sorry, wrong D&D streamers.
I'm gonna make sure. So, anyways, gonna make sure everybody's moving forward. Time is of the essence.
Oh.
Why is it?
Well,
Why are we even doing this? And it's just Grimcloak just muttering in under his breath.
Yeah. So, takes you about half an hour to 40 minutes. The sun is scalding. The heat is quite immense because it is a desert. However, you do eventually kind of leave the outskirts of the city, and then you come across, of course, the so-called say it without smiling, the so-called Rillo grounds. Now, uh, for those who don't know, basically all of you, the Rillo grounds are essentially the stables of the said city, massive stables, which has from as simple and common things as horses, for transport and whatnot, camels, lambs, boars, yaks, to something extremely exotic as serpents and rillos, who are these gigantic armadillos, 20-25 feet in height and about 30-35 feet long. In the Rillo grounds, the life is bustling. Here's one thing you didn't ask, and Alfie kind of forgot. You don't know who to look for your horses for the ruins. So what would you like to do? Is you kind
I
of
look for a man, or I look for somebody looking around, standing with 4 horses.
That's a good thing. Roll me
That's
perception.
a good idea too.
I'm gonna look for something else. I'm gonna look for someone who's in charge of some sort of stable.
Also perception.
I figured it's-
I'm just going to look around for horses.
You don't need to roll.
Oh,
you
no.
see
There's a horse.
you see a horse by 100. There's a lot of horses.
And there they were, 4 white horses. Said there are 4 of us.
Okay.
If we ever find the lady.
God. Well, Callius. Wait, Callius, you're looking for, a man with 4 horses.
I'm looking for somebody specifically looking out for
Yeah.
the group with
Um,
horses.
I mean, you see a lot of people that either herding a handful of animals in outer stables, looking around, whatnot. There's a mixture of all the quota you're trying to look for, but none of them catch your eye off. Yeah, this is the guy. You just gotta ask. Grimcloak, however, you clearly can see just give a wide berth looking around for the stables, and you do see essentially what you assume is the owner of one of the stables, a tabaxi, relatively well dressed, doesn't really seem to be dressed for the desert climate, on a crate, seemingly loudly speaking something from what seems to be a ledger, seemingly dictating some people orders. As when he finishes speaking, some of them nod and proceed to do something with themselves.
I think I see someone to approach. Follow me. And I approach this tabaxi, and if anyone follows, they can follow.
Sure.
Any other ways? Oh, you're just gonna go for this tabaxi.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably.
yeah.
What?
It takes you about a minute to basically get in his vision, I guess, as his orders are loud, essentially calling names and telling what they need to do, which horses they need to either feed them, make them go for a lap, make sure that they're healthy. Basically, uh, basically multitasking a bunch of other tabaxis of what they need to do. Would you just try to get his attention? Just gonna look at it.
No, I'm just gonna walk over and, well, I will just say a bit loudly, "Excuse me, sir."
He finishes his last sentence and immediately glances to you all. Ah, customers, welcome! How may I aid you this fine day? We got horses, we got rams, a few yaks. For meat or for riding, both are good.
We've come from the Adventurers Guild under the orders of Alfie. I believe someone has 4 horses and supplies ready for the trip towards a undisclosed location. I believe there were 4 horses.
He scratches his face a bit. Horses, eh? The guild, eh? Well, we didn't have anything like that. However, if you want me to find the individual and the horses you seek, I can gladly do it for a price.
And what might that price be?
He seems to think over. There's 5 of you. A decent price would be 10 gold pieces. Clearly, you need some guidance.
Guidance?
10 gold pieces.
And gold pieces.
Alright. But you get the money after you've done the job.
Persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
That's an 18. Remember. Alec Bard.
Not died.
No.
Music box.
Oh, I think an hour passed. It didn't die. But that's fine. The tabaxi nods at your counter offer and gives a wide smile. Sure, we'll shake on it. As the red sun as our witness, the deal will be made.
8 witnesses.
Will you shake this
All right.
tabaxi's hand?
Inside, does he have any ulterior motives?
Roll me an insight check.
Oh, that would be very suspicious.
By what it seems, no. So,
Alright. I'm just gonna shake on it.
yeah. He shakes it. You can feel its quite heat intense paw. Kind of squishes your hand, shakes it a bit, and then immediately gives a sharp whistle, and you see two tabaxis all of a sudden out of nowhere from the stables peek their heads out. You too! There is a horseman with 4 additional horses that these people are looking for. Find them. They immediately nod without a second word and just basically run off. One basically seems to be the south and one basically the north. And it takes like this awkward pause of like the backseat is like, but his partner just kind of seems to be looking over his ledger again, seemingly mumbling to himself if everything is in order. And you basically see that the backseas that he ordered run like a few thousand yards in like 2-3 minutes on their own paths, until one in the south, immediately after asking something, proceeds to just run towards back, almost waving at you all. This whole ordeal takes about 5 minutes until the backseat from the south returns, half well, how to say this, breathing heavily, almost to the point of exhaustion. There. That's where they need to go. And the backseat on the crate smiles at you, Nihilum. Well, you know now where to go? The gold, if you will.
Alright. And she hands him 10 gold pieces.
Takes the gold and gives you a very deep bow. Always a pleasure doing business with you. May the Red Sun guide you on your travels.
Is the red sun a common thing to find like in the desert, or is it just in this area?
You can roll me a religion or nature check. Was it a nature or religion?
Nature.
Nature. One thing that you notice when you're traveled, when you enter the desert, almost immediately the sun changed its color, a bit reddish. Like orangish reddish. And you heard people refer to, more specifically, the Tabaxi refer to, you know, sun and desert as the red sun. It is both, I guess, a correct description of the sun, but also almost like a pseudo-religious icon, as the red sun is overwatching the desert, which of course the desert is, to the Tabaxi homeland. That's pretty much what you get with a 19.
As we're moving away to where we need to be, Kalis will step up to Neelam and hand her 2 gold. My share in that. Neelam?
Nihilum.
Internet problems.
No.
No. Give it a moment. The big scream. No.
Discord's been funky today too.
Yeah.
You there?
Does it work again? Okay.
We're back.
Kalis hands you 2 gold and says, my share in that.
She would look at him. You really don't have to do that. I have more than enough, thank you.
As do I.
Bruh. Okay, then,
That's all.
wait. If you guys are holding this gold in the air, like, as he, like, hands it to him, can I do a sleight of hand check and snap it? If they both have enough.
And they both say like, "Oh, I have
have-
more than enough. I have more than enough, Mahet. I don't have any."
Yeah, sure. Do a sleight of hand check and see.
It's not.
See
It's
if you
not,
can
not
do
hiding.
one.
Doing.
Can I also
you
do
will see
one?
this.
Be
will
a
see
20.
this.
Oh.
Sorry. You will see this happen. This is just him actually attempting to take it. This is not like hidden. You'll notice he's not stealing. Like, oh, you both have enough. Clearly.
Should we
No.
both roll like a dex check to see if we catch him in the act?
Yeah, yeah.
Only if you want to catch him.
No, we.
Yeah, we
he's
do.
doing it in the open, so you will notice it.
Yeah, no, this isn't.
Roll
hidden.
me a sleight of hand check. I'm waiting.
What should we roll in response?
It's like, oh yeah, you just like, how tall are both of you? I have a perfect way to describe this.
You're a gnome, so
Like 170 something centimeters.
Right. Meters
I
don't
believe
really
I'm
translate
around.
well
I
enough.
believe I'm like 6'4".
Yeah, you both,
5'9"
you're
or
both
something.
a good deal taller than him. You guys are both like 2 feet taller. 3 reaches up, like, oh, if you both have enough, and you just lift your hands slightly.
As it becomes out of his reach.
As he's reaching up, Kalis, like with his other hand, just grabs his arm and lifts him up a little, and kind of stares at him.
Anywho.
It is not. It is not a good idea to snatch gold from a mercenary.
There's a mercenary? Looks around.
Nilum would just look down on him and say, "You're a
He's
pathetic
being held up
little
right now,
man."
actually.
Oh, I'm not holding. I'm holding him up at like eye level
He's like off the ground.
by like one arm.
He weighs, to be clear, this guy weighs like 40 pounds. He's a skinny,
Yeah,
old,
that's-
tiny
that's-
gnome.
That's effortless for Kalis. His axe is 40 pounds, probably.
Yeah, you have weapons heavier than this man. As you pick him up.
Kalis kind of scoffs and sets him down. And he looks at Blester with like sort of a question in his eyes. Did Blester see that at all?
Yeah. He found it entertaining.
And you
Blester's
would
getting a
still
laugh out of you.
And you would still take him on this trip.
Huh? He didn't run into us for no reason now, did he?
He was chasing a bug.
And that led him to us.
The halfling logic.
There's a slight note of disapproval in like the grunt that he gives off after that,
So,
but he
Yeah,
doesn't argue it.
and well, Grimclaw will speak up to Callus. If we do find a suspicious hold that someone has to crawl into, the old man can go first.
I have a feeling we won't be able to stop Blester.
So be it.
Right then. So we got the horses, we got the stuff.
By
We
the
have
way,
the guide?
that whole
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
that whole
We're going to the
ordeal
guide.
ends.
Yeah, you're
That
going to the
ordeal
guy.
ends with Kalis basically walking away, leaving Nihilum with the 2 gold in her hand.
Yeah, so
He used Mahet as a distraction.
Related.
it takes about 3-4 minutes of just walking, and you do stumble across a human in his 30s, just kind of idly waiting by 5 horses. And he kind of just squints at all of you. I see. Alfie didn't told about me, but yet he can't. Whatever. Saddle up. It's a long journey. There's enough food and water for a week. He seems kind of a bit displeased. Can anybody roll an insight?
Sure.
Mm.
Why not? So I don't know. Hello, new character. What's my bonus? Whoa!
Kalis and Blister, you realize this was not the first time that this human was forgotten by Alfie, and that was a very big slide to him, and now he doesn't feel like in the mood. He's gonna do the task.
And to
However,
be fair, we also failed to ask.
I know, but he's just like, oh, this was not the first time he didn't. And he just gets on the horse and kind of waits for all of you to get on the horse. I guess because there's in total 5 these relatively short-haired horses, well fed by the looks of it, and basically ready to go with.
They're all normal-sized horses, aren't they?
Yes.
Kalis probably picks the biggest of the group, since that'll have the easiest time carrying him, and vaults onto it lightly. Well, not lightly, but easily.
Quick question: how hard is it for 2 people that are like 3 foot?
It's not
to get
really
on a horse?
it's not really hard because the saddles actually have, well, basically rope. Well, not rope, but more like pieces to basically latch on. It's more like for the feet. However, it is more than easy for you to just get on the horse. Albeit it's not as graceful as Kaylee just fucking bolts once and it's done.
Well, there's 4 horses for us and 5. No, the other guy's on the horse. Oh, the other horse.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to have to buddy up.
No,
Likely the
said-
two short ones. The lightest. Easiest on the horse.
And you're the one who wanted to bring him anyway, so I guess you can share.
All right. Go ahead. Get on the horse first.
As he kind of gets close to the horse, he stamps his cane down, and it extends into a pole as you see a little swish of magic around it, and it lifts him up to the horse's height before he sits down, and it returns to a bone.
I just get on the horse normal.
I also get on my horse, and I just notice that staff, and I'm like,
Break.
yeah.
All of you are
reaction.
all of you are
You get-
to do an Arcana check.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
I will.
You know what? Why not? That could actually
Arcana.
yield some results. Arcan. Okay, that's one of my better stats. You know,
know
one
what?
of my better stats. That's a shitty roll.
22.
You know what? I'm gonna use my chrono G thing to re-roll that.
Oh, gee, nice.
You're like using your actual abilities to reroll if you can see what the good the stat is.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a little bit better.
Anyone who has above a 10. It's just a bone. There's no magic in that staff.
It's just
Is
magic.
that the perception check?
Arcana, or I guess
Oh.
perception would have worked if you got 15 or higher, but yeah.
I have
It's-
a passive of 23, so.
Yeah, just like it's clear that by the movement of his hands and something like that, he wasn't activating a magic item. He just is magic.
Well, nevertheless, a second, let me get. Business as usual, I guess. You settle up and you essentially just literally. There's like 200 feet of like stables and people, and and then there's just desert. Like there is no like road, anything, just desert. As you just kind of go and just ride into it. And to put it simply, the desert is the desert. There is nothing really that it occurs. So, can one of you roll me a d10?
Next one
Yes,
down.
I believe you're up next.
Ah, D10. Yes. Sorry.
He was right trying to find a dusted.
I was
Um,
I was lost in my own thoughts.
unironically, the only real difference that happens, mind you, this is incredibly boring. The only thing that you do either is look to your left, to your right, up, behind you, drink water, and that's it. You just go. The only real change that happens throughout the whole day is somewhere about 2 hours in, you just have a cloud that covers the sun for about an hour. And that's it. That's all that you get.
DM, can I make one
relief.
more perception check on this sun?
Sure.
Now we have you stare at the sun or the long journey, and I tap Blester's shoulder and like point to the sun. Blester, you mind helping me with this check?
Yeah.
The sun is watching. Please.
You know what? Grimclock is going to look up, but only because there's a cloud now, so they're curious about the cloud.
That's a 34.
34. You look at the
It
sun.
is the sun.
Hey, Mahet. You look at the sun and the sun looks back at you. How about that?
Anyway, I'm going to look at the cloud.
Hmm.
'Cause I want to know what it... okay. 11.
It is basically one of those very thin, will never produce a rain or anything of the like, but once in a while some brave cloud does manage to go into this far into the desert and block the sun for a bit. It's not like you haven't seen a cloud in Negda or in the desert itself. But yeah, the first night arrives. And there's the first star night arrives, and it cools relatively fast as the sun sets.
Is he
And-
still watching?
No, it has stopped watching you, Mahet. Good.
Now the moon's watching you, and it's going to get frisky.
The moon is in fact a full moon. It is that of Lekna, the massive older sister moon with a massive threaded piece center.
My perception check the moon.
The moon.
Oh, jeez.
Is it watching? DM.
Roll
I
me
need to
perception. As you're basically setting up camp, you're told by the guy to basically that we gonna camp here. Well, technically we're all gonna camp here, and by tomorrow afternoon should be able to reach the ruins, and you should get a good night's rest. That also they should not worry about any prey, because there are no prey around here.
Right, you mean predators.
Prey, yeah, predators.
Well,
But-
Tabaxi. But yeah, 23. The moon. Stairs.
Hold on, I want to check what did I get? Okay.
Well,
Roll a crazy check, Mahet.
You look at the moon. The moon is nice. The moon is what you assume is the one that brings the cold, Mahet. And
Of course.
there's this calm. But there's something unsettling on the moon, Mahet. See something glint. And
See you.
and for 5 minutes you think you see the greatest conspiracy of all times. the glinting moon. But then you realize you're standing a bit too close to the fire, and the bits of fire, the little embers that flicker a bit too high above the fire, kind of shine into the moon. Your masterful fury fails as
Well done this time. Sit back down, look at the fire. As I take a
the
bone
fire
out of my
watching?
bag and it turns into a food ration and I eat it.
I just imagine you like
Crunch.
you just start biting the bone and you hear like this crunchy meat sound. Like it turns into a packet of noodles, like crunch.
Just pantomiming eating chips out of the bag, and you can actually hear the crunch of the chips.
Yeah. He shakes his bone, it sounds like a bag of lace. Rattle, rattle, rattle. Nevertheless, is there anything you wish to do in the nighttime? Or I guess in your resting? Because, it's nighttime.
So who's gonna hold watch? Are we gonna do a hold watch, Chase?
Your
Skilless at least would watch for a while.
your guide said that there's no predators in, and when he literally just like eats and just lays and sleeps. Oh,
Kalis, for most of the night, is pretty much seen just staring with his back to the fire out into the desert. He does sleep, but it seems to be in like hour intervals.
roll me a perception check.
I sleep, but for the record, I sleep with my eyes open, sitting up.
What you do?
He can't do that. He has that ability.
By the way, do familiars need sleep?
No, they do not.
Then there's going to be an owl perched on one of the horses the whole night.
Despite everything, the only thing that really is present in your vicinity is your companions, the moon, and the stars beyond in the infinite dark. And of course, sand.
I hate sand. It's cool.
I told you! I told you!
There it is.
I told you it's gonna be
Anyway,
him.
Okay.
You owe me $5, Ken. Anyway,
Kalis is not Anakin.
We're talking
You-
about you, fire.
you even got the scar for it. Don't worry, Anakin.
Oh well.
Anyway.
Which one of you is the
And go
chosen?
takes a rest.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that means I'm the chosen one. I bring
Yeah.
balance to the force.
Anyway,
You're gonna fall though.
you all take a nice long rest. No predators attack you, no troubles occurred, and the sun starts to rise, and the relatively chilly morning becomes intense with heat once again. With not much further talk, your guide eats just a few pieces of meat and drinks a whole flask of water, and tells that we're gonna head out in 5 minutes. Ready up?
My head gets on the horsey.
Before that, I would actually turn to Blaster, take out the letter again, and ask, "Excuse me, I've heard you've been studying too, so I thought I might ask you, do you know what kind of material this is made of?"
Okay. I want to do a sneaky Arcana check on that scroll. That thing.
Sure.
To see if I can see him.
I guess I'll inspect the scroll as well.
To put it simply, it looks and feels, well, it feels metallic, although it is bendable and flexible as actual paper.
That's
And
what
it-
do it for the third time in a row.
God damn it. It's very weird because it feels metallic. It does not tear, it does not break, Yet it also feels smooth, and you feel like you could ride something on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Would I know where it's from or what it's made of?
no, no.
Okay, well
The
then we're gonna just do a detect magic on it.
you sense nothing.
Don't know much about it other than its outward appearance. Why is this? Why did you need me to look at it?
Well, it was sent to me a few days ago, and I've yet to find out who sent it. I thought, knowing what the material is made of, I would have a clue where it could come from. Thank you, anyways, though.
Oh.
Take a better look at it later when we're not pressed for time.
Thank you so much.
So,
Question, DM,
yes.
is more for Blester because he did detect magic. Well, will Blester see anything else on the other party members? Because, you know, it's
See,
10 minutes of things.
The thing is,
Unless-
with Lester, he has a one-track mind. It's one thing at a time. So unless something's like apparently gonna catch his attention,
fair.
Well,
he's not gonna
Would
really
Kale-
notice.
Would Kalis show up on Detect Magic?
Unless they're being looked at, but they probably pretty much.
I was more focused on the piece of
Question
paper.
for another day. Blaster is a man of
Mhm.
focus, concentration, and sheer fucking will.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Or
basi-
hyper focus.
If anybody has their magical items out, you would see them. There's nothing innately magical about anybody in this group, except for Bluster's familiar, which of course, it's a familiar.
He's a nice little barn owl.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
nevertheless, 1d10, if you will.
Would be Grim.
Grim,
Yes?
your turn to roll the d10.
Oh, sorry.
The D10 the fire.
Lucky 7!
7.
It's on a 2! It's on a 2! It's on a 2! Jig
Ah.
broken.
Yippee!
You literally you travel for 7 hours, and the only thing of notice that occurs is you see in front of you, like riding tracks of what seems to be a relatively sized caravan, seem to go from the north to the south. Although looking to the north and the south, there's no one there. Your guide immediately says, "A caravan passed through some time ago, probably a day, maybe a few hours ago." As sort of like explanation before you ask questions.
By the way, do we have like a marching order? Did we figure that out?
I just assume you're all just side by side, just riding.
Then I'm gonna ask,
Okay.
is it standard for caravans to travel through here?
So the Becks, they travel wherever they wish. It's their home. Most of them are traveling nomads. Where they go, what they do. If you find any, well, you can ask for their business.
Okay, then I would like to look around to see if I see any caravans in the distance.
No, you do not see.
Okay. Okay, I don't see anything, so nothing.
Yeah, it's literally just somebody's strength that was left day or hours ago. Nevertheless, 7 hours pass, and in the glimpse of basically sand, as far as the eye can see, for almost 2 days up to this point, kind of getting sick and tired as the sun is not setting. it's too far to set, but it's already in the second half of the day. You see it in the distance. A massive structure, almost like revealed, or almost like just poking out of the ground. Relatively large, surrounded by endless waves of sand, higher, smaller than the structure. As you approach it closer, a few things are relevant. It is maybe about a square mile in size and maybe about 100 feet tall. The entrance, what seems to be present, is a lot bigger than, a random door that you would pass by. It's at least 20, 30 feet long and maybe 20, 30 feet wide. And what else you notice is there is signs of traveling to this place. Horse hoofs, still preserved, although it is odd to see them, since in the desert, especially if the wind is a bit harsher, those tracks should disappear in mere minutes. Yet there is a band, what seems to be a 6-7 horses, traveling basically almost the same direction as you are, and towards, well, these ruins. Your guy kind of not yells out, but more like speaks up, driving the fact, we're here.
I don't think we're alone.
Exactly, someone must have come here recently.
Was anyone scheduled?
No,
We should be the only ones to know about this.
that is correct.
Kalis kind of rides forward, looking back at the group. If there ends up being a fight, stay out of my way. As he continues forward.
Bahet.
I reach my hand in my bag and do a few things. Don't mind me.
As you reach your hand, all of a sudden you hear a sudden shudder as the buzzing in your pocket intensifies, and the beetle bolts out and proceeds to just fly towards the location.
Move quickly, we must.
More surprised that it is alive still, after being suffocated in that pocket for so long.
It watches.
I'm surprised that it survived that smell.
It probably smelled worse.
Quickly, Quester, move.
Yeah,
Something
no.
stinks about this entire thing.
Oh, wait.
So how far is the beetle's going towards the ruins, right?
Yes.
How far out is it?
Basically, when you start seeing footprints, and of course Kayla is proclaiming, you seem like 600 feet away from it.
Okay.
Kind of just arriving into this imposing structure. It's not like oh yeah, this is like 2 rooms and that's it. No, this looks like a building. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess well, if that bug is alive and doing this shit, yeah, Grimcloak is just gonna go after it on his horse.
So, riding order. Who's gonna be first? Or are you all just together, just riding in?
Kalis is going to be first.
Question: are you gonna just ride in? Because it's like it's big enough for you to like ride with your horse inside the entrance, quote unquote. Or would you
Kalis will
stop?
dismount as he comes to the door.
Grimplug also does this.
Yeah.
Takes you about a minute to traverse to the entrance, and inside, what you see is basically a hallway. And in the hallway, about 50 feet in, you see horses. 6 of them. Relatively tame, quiet. Well, they get a bit loud when you just roll up. You see camping equipment. You see a makeshift table. You see pieces of papers, some a quill and an inkwell. You see a campfire with pre-made, not pre-made, wood that has been basically procured somewhere else and not from here, you suppose. Cooking utensils, a few cans of rations that have been used and kind of just disposed to the side. Somebody has been here.
Judging by the amount of rations, how many people are we looking at? Just 6?
7.
7? Kalis will walk up to the horses and try to quiet them down.
Animal handling check. This is probably going to be one of those one of 6 animal handling checks in the entire campaign. Yeah, you come close and they kind of get spooked. But as you kind of not embrace it, but kind of pet them and calm them, they're become relatively like calm. And one thing you realize, they're not exactly copies of the horses you have, but they look like the similar breed.
Same stock, kind of?
Yes.
There's a moment where Kalis looks back at the guy and almost in question for a moment before walking back over to the campfire and glancing down. How many passages out of the room are there other than the entrance?
You look at the you look down the passage. There is what seems to be a small room to the left. That seems to be another corridor, like a smaller room that leads to another corridor that leads into darkness. Because your eyes cannot see in the darkness, so it's just darkness. And if you go straight from the entrance, you basically are met with this massive metal door. You want to say that this is just a metal blockage, like a just giant chunk of metal, but no, it is actually a door. As you see, what seems to be something to part the doors side to side. However, when you try to like move it, it doesn't budge. Like this won't budge.
So the metal doors don't budge. Okay. Well, Grimplug's also still there, so they're gonna walk to the left side of at least the dark corridor.
Huh?
I can't see the. Before I say, do I have dark vision? No, that would be have dark vision. So I'm gonna cast light, and my object is gonna be a random rock that I found that it will pick up from the ground. There's probably rock somewhere.
Yes, there's plenty of rocks. First thing you notice immediately is there is footprints in the actual sand. People have walked back and forth, so clearly somebody has been here. Although listening in, it is definitely quiet. There's no sounds that coming from inside, but from the outside you can hear your companions and the horses.
Question.
Yes.
You mentioned pieces of paper on the table.
Yes.
I would like to investigate that.
Most of the pieces of paper are blank. However, the contents of them are not, as there are documents, or more like what's it called? Those documents that have already like set things like the date, the objective, like a preset. And you know this is almost like what basically an Empire's administrator would use to, either make a report or have like a recommendation or something. And all you can find is day 2. Camp set successfully. We'll investigate further inside. And then there is what seems to be like almost a pause. The redhead laughed and rode away.
The red head.
Yeah, this is
Is
less. Yeah, Passive Inside Blister. This looks like somebody wanted to make like an official day 2 catalog, but then something occurred and the writing style immediately changed when the redhead was mentioned. And that's literally the only piece of paper with anything written. But clearly he realized that this is the expedition notes and not a third
Of
party.
the previous expedition. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And last thing, the campfire. Is it out?
It is out. It's there's a wood.
Is it still smoldering? Is there
No,
slight
no.
embers, or is it just out?
No, it's fully out, and there's enough wood for you assume several more fires, like at least 2. So it wasn't like they stayed here for a while and that's it. It's more like something happened quite early on. And
I'm afraid this is the previous archaeology group.
Their trail should be long gone by now, though.
That is true.
And by the way, Grimglock with that glowing stone, yeah, it suddenly starts floating 10 feet above his head. Mage handing that.
I see.
So now there's a little glowing spot above him, 10 feet above Grimcloak, illuminating 20 feet around him.
So, what would any
Yeah.
of you like to do?
Yeah, the door's made of metal, right?
Yes, the door is made of metal.
Okay.
It is of similar coloration as the paper, however.
Is it?
It is.
Okay, then I'm going to try to cast heat metal.
You touch the metal. You feel the spell going through. You feel what seems to be almost like a sudden flash of heat, almost like you accidentally touch a slightly hotter pan, and immediately it goes the same temperature as it was moments ago. The spell came through, but it had no effect.
I would turn to the group. Just as I thought, this door, and I point at the door and then hold up the letter, is made from the same material as this letter. It doesn't get hot through. No!
It's
Now
easy.
hold it
Just
up
hold it
just a
higher than
slightly
he
bit.
can. Higher
Yeah.
than he can jump.
I just hold it up. We don't know what this material is, but it's supposedly the same one. It isn't affected by fire.
Squints.
interesting quality it has.
Not fire or not magic. I walk over to the door, knock it, lick it. Rex,
There's
can I
no,
do
there's
an
no,
arcana check
there's
on
no
the door?
knobs. There's just like what from your perspective, two slags of metal kind of put side to side and basically pushed together. What do you want to do, Mahet?
I want to do an arcana check to see if this is magical or just a natural property of the material.
Sure.
And DM, if this is a magical object of any kind, I do get a bonus for it, so I will need a heads up.
Yeah, just
Even
roll.
if my character doesn't.
Just roll. Just roll.
Alright, let's see.
Well, at least Grimcloak is going to come close to the door, shining the light on it.
Alright, and
Is there?
that is a
And I-
33.
Oh,
I'm sorry, that's a 36 actually.
you have no clue what it's made of. It looks for you. It looks like a odd discoloration of bronze. However, there's nothing magical about it. Although there is this odd sensation about it.
Like it's from another world. Sorry.
And what did you say, Kaelis?
Kalis is going to look around, see if he sees like a mechanism or anything
No.
that does open these doors.
There is literally just a long corridor from the entrance that leads to the door. The door is inaccessible, does not budge, nor any way to open it. And there is a pathway to the left that has a little room that is empty, and then another hallway that leads into the dark.
Do these doors seem to swing in towards us, or
Best you can surmise, it's either they swing out, or they slide opposite of each other.
slide in?
Slide in.
Slide.
Yeah.
Well,
but-
they're doing the rest of this. I'm gonna be a little goblin, and you see him blow into his bag, and suddenly the clattering of the bones stop. As DM, I've turned this into a bag of holding. And I just take anything remotely shiny from the camp, anything that maybe
You
just anything that I think I could do anything with.
six
very
six cans of open rations. Enjoy.
Nom nom nom.
Crunchy sounds.
Doesn't eats the cans, not the food.
Is there any spare pieces of equipment, like I don't know, like writing utensils or
Yeah, there is writing
miscellaneous?
utensils. There is cooking equipment. There are logs.
Perfect. Yeah, I just take all of that, all of the equipment, all of the equipment.
Press loot all
Just-
button.
Press blue all
Okay.
button. Is what he is doing.
Anyway,
All right.
milady, what have you else tried with the metal?
Well, as I arrived at the city, I gave it to a few specialists. It is, as far as I've been able to figure out, it has nothing to do with alchemy, at least in the way we know it. It is no cloth and, well, you just saw it yourself. It can't burn. And it doesn't even get hot. Aside from that, not much.
May I try something?
Alright. He hands you the letter.
He takes the letter and point blank ray of frost onto it. See how it reacts to cold.
Nothing.
No,
Like
no
it
reaction to
feels
cold.
cold to the touch, but nothing else. It's not torn. It's not broken. It does Does not even freeze.
Okay.
Kalis kind of clears his throat to get everyone's attention. There is another path further in. You think odds are it doesn't open from this side. At least not in any way I can find.
You could always blow it up.
Is he stuffing another pan into the bag?
I feel like blowing this up would be against the goals that we were given in coming here.
I'd very much like to preserve it, yes, too.
Same. And by the way, I hand the scroll back to Linnea. It doesn't freeze, but it did get cold for a moment.
Oh, interesting. She puts the letter back in. I do agree, though. We should try to keep as much of this, if it's possible. If my suspicions are correct, we might have discovered a new material that no one's ever heard of before.
Clearly someone's heard of it. They made a door out of it.
Oh no, we just have to
In
find
an
them
inch.
somebody.
In an ancient temple, so they're probably long gone. Just putting it out there.
Kalis shrugs quietly.
Mountain Man!
Points to you.
I have something for you.
He points to you, Mountain Man, as the tallest member of the party.
Wait, who's the tallest man in the
6'4".
party?
I'm 6'4".
Damn.
1'8". I'm 1'8".
Yeah, that's about, so both you tall. Yeah, in my case, me and Blaster here are short squad, let's go. With that said, you see
Mountain
you
1
see
and
him walk
Mountain
over
2.
to you, and motion for you to, reach your hands down.
Kalis
Who?
kind of narrows his eyes at the little gnome, holding out an empty hand.
He takes out, and, Araxis, I've already described to you exactly how I do this, so I'm not going to elaborate in too much detail. He takes out a small metal ball with a pin in it.
When you see something in it, you pull and throw.
Places it in your palm.
Oh god. It's an artificer.
Grenade?
Granada moment.
Grenade.
Grenade! I was expecting some of the stick designs, stick grenades that they made in World War II or something.
No,
Have a handle
this
to
guy just gave you a metal
live in a
ball. With-
Up above the table, we live in a world where actual grenades were introduced, so we got grenades.
This guy got a grenade out of somewhere.
Anyway,
Sweats.
what would you
I
like to
I
do?
brought them.
Kalis kind of eyes Mahet a little bit, just grunts, and carefully puts it in his pocket. Or a pouch.
And one last thing, Araxis, before we go down the hallway. How many pounds of random metal crap or miscellaneous items did I just shovel into
Just
the
metal
hallway?
overall?
Metal mainly, but any items of significant weight.
Do you take the wood?
Yes, I would actually.
Oh god.
You would.
About 15, 16 pounds of metal, mainly iron and tin. And about 50 pounds of wood. For emphasis, wood.
Yep, you just. Yep. Thank you. Sorry, I need to keep track of that for different reasons.
Just
Are you
like-
building a mech, Mahet?
Are
Are we
Who are
going
you
to end
building?
the campaign with Mahet having like a redneck Gundam?
Either that or something else.
Nevertheless,
To go fight the sun.
walking order.
Kalis goes first with a torch in hand.
I still have my floating glowy stone. So I guess I'm second. Or in the
Mhm.
back.
I'm third.
I think having a source of light on the front and back would probably be the best idea, Grim.
Yeah, I think so too. So I'm in the back.
So Nihilum will be second.
Okay.
Blester and Mahet in third and fourth, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
My hat's in front of me.
Like Leslie keeping one arm on his shoulder to make sure he doesn't wander too off.
Yeah.
Has one of those
Nope.
backpack leashes.
I was just
Yeah.
about to say.
So you wander.
Person on standby.
You walk. The hallways are wide. They're tall. If you didn't guess any better, this was designated for a lot bigger individuals, significantly larger than any of you. And as you walk, the hallway goes straight for about 60 feet, and it goes right for another 60 feet, and it's kind of cool because it's been relatively dark. You approaching, you do see tracks of people walking in and out. Occasionally, you see a handprint on the wall. What seems to be some sort of dust that he touched and just kind of left an imprint. And then there's darkness. In the light, there you are. And then you hear a vibration around you, softly humming. Then below you, strumming. But after a good few seconds, stops.
As the thrumming starts, like, is the ground like solid stones?
It
or
is
cobblestone.
It is solid stone.
You can see Kalis kind of step towards the side as the humming starts, almost like he's ensuring that the floor doesn't fall in, almost staying close to the wall as the humming happens. But as nothing happens, he kind of lopes back into the center of the walkway.
Well,
Can I
as
look
you
around?
my
Because,
hat,
I don't.
my hat.
Speedo.
Yes, Beetle. You, as the drums ends, you hear a voice echo through the hallways in front of you, almost like bouncing off the walls, with a single word: cometh.
Off we go. And you see he slips from under your grip, Blaster, and he just runs straight forward. Oh, get him cold! Get it, feel it!
I'm going to. Kalis is going to grab Mahet as he runs past.
You are more than welcome to. What do we want to make a? This is a very contested acrobatics or athletics check, my friend.
Okay.
I feel like this is a very you-sided fight, but fair enough. Well within your right. Oh, I can't roll that high. So like he runs in, you just like grab him by the scruff of the back of his neck, just hold him up again. Woo! All right.
can't have you running off ahead, setting off traps. And I kind of keep walking, holding up my hat, kind of
He's like a
lanternish.
Actually, yeah, as you kind of hold him up as a lantern, that his clothing starts to just glow. I see.
You walk. And mind you, you've been walking for like half a minute. You take another turn that leads basically immediately to what seems to be a ladder. Not a ladder, a stairway down. However, on the stairway, you find basically at the very top corpse. A elf female on her stomach, reaching out towards basically the floor ahead of her. And basically below her waist there is a dry pool, or almost like a river of blood that kind of descends down to the stairs.
How long does it look like she's been dead?
Medical check. Give or take at least 2 days.
Poor soul.
Kalis sets Mahet down and motions to Grim with his light to come up to the front to walk with him as he puts out his own torch and pulls out his axe.
The hat walks behind you, pulling out several metal balls from the bag.
If everyone else is pausing, Kalis is continuing forward.
You're gonna just walk by the corpse?
After
Like to
checking
in-
to see how old it was, Kalis would.
Ah, I see.
I would like to see who it is.
Well, she elf female by the features, basically fully planted face first into the stairway, since a bit of the floor ahead of the stairway.
Like to investigate if there's anything of value.
Pillaging. Investigation check.
All right, sweet.
Sorry.
You see that the sheet is empty, so there was a blade. You see that whatever got her slashed her through basically her stomach. One thing you realize when you inspect her, she doesn't seem to have any organs inside of her. It's open, it's clear the inside. You search her pockets. You find 2 gold pieces and 3 silver, and that's pretty much it.
Sword, hand!
Yeah, no, yeah. But, Maha, you're gonna have your hand hold up. He just plops it into your hand, the gold.
Which type of
and
sword is
silver.
this, Orexis? I know it's a traditional, but what type? Is it like short sword, long sword?
Oh no! There's no sword. There's only the hilt, not the hilt. The scabbard. The blade itself is missing.
I still like
No.
it, so
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Now the question is, what could have done this?
Hmm.
Seems to be missing a few vital organs.
Rexus, does the hilt look anything like the one I found?
Odd.
Wait, like what now?
Does it look anything like the one I found? Or the one that was sent to me in my session 0?
Oh. Looks like a
Right.
regular sword that, well, I guess the scabbard of a sword that basically went missing. Yeah, you pass by, I assume.
Yeah. Now very overly cautious, I assume.
Other than putting out his torch and drawing his axe, Kalis doesn't seem to be moving any slower.
Keeps pacing behind. How do you say that name? Is it Kellius? I'm still getting used to
Kalis.
it. Kalis, thank you. He now he's moving behind, much closer to Kalis now than he is the rest of the group.
I say in the back, and I notice the body, look at it, and move on. I leave with it.
Grim, Kalis did mention for you to bring your torch up, your light up to the front when he put out
Okay.
his.
Okay, then I just floated towards the front next to Kalis. That's simple.
So assume all of you pass by the body, then go down.
Yeah.
Well, I could do something, but that wouldn't be nice right now, so no.
You go down. You basically find the blade. It is a short sword made of steel, covered in blood, and some sort of goldish liquid. And of course the pathway continues.
Do I recognize the gold liquid as something?
No, but it does mix uncomfortably well with blood.
Okay, so it's some sort of blood.
Is it still wet or dry?
It is wet.
Kalis kind of picks up the sword by the hilt. The gold is all on the blade?
Yes, although it's not a lot, it's basically one side of it. And it's like, it is gold and it has like this almost like a shimmering effect on it. And you feel, or I guess you kind of nudge it and realize it's completely wet. There has not been even a bit of stagnation or, hardening.
I'm going to use a magic awareness. Allows me to sense magic, I believe magic items in the area around me.
What's the range?
Should be 60 feet that isn't behind total cover.
No.
It's also spells.
Sense no. Mahet.
I kind of hold out the blade to the rest of the party, showing them the gold liquid.
Ameth. Echoes again through the halls for you, Mahet.
It's going. You feel like tapping on the back of your like calves and thighs, Kalis.
Kalis, at the tap, Kalis tenses a moment. And does he hear anything?
No.
Not a thing.
It's quiet.
Can you tell where it comes from?
I just point straight ahead where the voice.
Here.
thinks for a
I
moment.
set down the
before-
blade and I
Mhm.
head forward once more.
You leave the blade with the golden liquid inside. So, second? Oh. Ooh. Takes a few more walks, and you do find more bodies. 2 humans, 1 dwarf, 1 Goliath, and 1 all dead. All, interestingly enough, bodies face first to the ground, and all of their organs are scooped up.
Weapons?
Weapons litter the ground, although none of them are touched. Like they're covered in the blood of the fallen around them, but no golden liquid.
Yeah, I take any
So-
loose blades, metals, or anything.
Oh, did you take the golden blade as well then?
If if Kalis
Correct.
would have tried to stop me, I wouldn't have. So it's up to Kalis.
Everything behind him is kind of
He has the blade.
past
and-
Kalis's notice right now. He is completely focused on whatever could be ahead.
He's looking for everything in front of him. DM just he
Yeah.
just takes any metal objects, any
So-
any shiny doodads,
So you.
including the blade that we passed by.
Oh, and what are you gonna do with that blade?
It's in the bag of holding.
I just put it in the bag of holding. Okay.
It's in the bag of holding. How many like blades and weapons do I pick up throughout here, DM?
6, 7, 8, 9. In total, 11. As all of them has, well, technically find the golden blade, or it covered in golden liquid, and then you find 10 more blades, ones that are basically you see main weapons for them, and then of course you find secondary weapons, which is either small hatchets or daggers.
Got it. I will average and take nods.
But here's the thing:
Thank you. Oh,
30 feet after the just Slaughterfest, there is a sapphire door. When I say sapphire, I don't mean sapphire colored. I mean a sapphire door, seemingly made out of sapphire.
I'm gonna cast enhance ability on myself on wisdom. My passive perception is now 29, because I'm listening very closely.
Beyond the
Kalis
door,
generally
two things,
listens
Mahat.
closely.
2 things.
Mm.
You see the door can be opened, can be pushed open. Second thing you hear, several things on the other side. You hear a sound of buzzing or wobbling, something. You realize something a lot bigger is on the other side. And by the sounds of it, it is your friend, the beetle. However, you also you also hear water. You hear drip drops of water, and that's pretty much what you hear with a 29 passive perception.
Is the sapphire clear enough to like see through? Or
No,
is
it is thick enough for you to not see through.
1 second, my cat's pretty plastic. I'll be right back.
You said it can be opened?
It can be opened, yes.
Kalis steps forward, but
And-
freezes and turns to look back at everyone else as if just now remembering that they're there.
The only thing you see is Grimcloak looking at you from that smiling mask, but shaking his head, going, "No."
My head
Kalis,
is. Go on.
Kalis like completely turns around to look at the rest of the party, and he motions to the door, being completely silent. He motions to the door, and then makes a motion of opening.
Grimcloak going, "No."
My head nodding his head frantically as he strings a line across several of these metal balls.
Chances are what did this to them is behind the door.
Kalis nods at Bluster and kind of puts a finger to his mouth, kind of warning for quiet. And he motions again. Do we open it?
Nodding.
I have 2 votes. Grimcloak and Mahet. I have heard nothing from everyone else.
Lester is deep in thought thinking of the positives and negatives right now.
He's distracted, leaving one person to break the tie.
Milady.
Yep. You could see Nilum kind of squint, but then nod. I think we should open it.
Oh, if he's gonna open, then I'm gonna hold an action.
I look to Blester, trying to get his attention out of his lost in thought. And I pull my axe and turn back around. This is Kalis signaling he is about to open the door. Be ready.
I hold action.
Same.
Kalis, with his axe in both hands, kind of pushes on the door.
It's a pull, buddy.
Is
it a pull?
No, you push, and it swings wildly. All of a sudden, you feel like the sapphire, the door, is like 100 times as wider as you imagined. As it opens up, on the other side, you basically see sapphire quartz everywhere, like stalagmites hanging from the ceiling, and in the center, seemingly a portal or something, a massive gem of ruby swirling, but not like a stagnant ruby, more like a liquid made of ruby, or almost like the crystal is liquid, moving, swirling gently. And in front of the said ruby portal stands a beetle. A lot massiver. About 12 feet tall and about 18 feet wide.
This way.
With its horns bigger, with this massive horn, biggest horn, bigger than the entirety of Kalis by height and width. So you come.
Kalis is the person in front. And it takes one step into the room. Still holding his axe.
As you take a step in the room, you realize something. That is not water that you're standing in. You're standing in... If crystal can be liquid and shimmer as freely as water, that is what you're standing in. You're standing in literal liquid sapphire. It shivers. It's reflective, but also kind of heavy.
How deep is it?
It's like 2 inches.
Okay. Shallow.
Am I about to go swimming?
They're not that small. God damn.
I know. As I
Hey,
follow quickly
anything
behind
below 5'11" and you're like falling off of your bed. But anyway. Kalis steps forward and, with only a glance taken to register the liquid, he shifts his axe in his hands and looks at the beetle. We come. Some of us were called.
Hello.
Why?
Indeed, you have. Can
Why?
everybody roll me an insight check?
Thank you. That's. I was gonna ask. I could do. Inside. That's not the best bonus, but I'll take it. There we go. It's got to be a 2. No, it's a 3.
Hey,
You're
it's a
wrong. It was a
3!
3.
It's a
Well,
We're gonna
roll,
win the
high
wheel,
roll.
boys. 26.
26. You know in my head when you were like looking at the beetle that beckoned you to the offices and you thought to yourself there's something inside of it? That same sensation is a lot better. This is not the beetle that is speaking, but something that is inside of it. But not really inside of it. Something is controlling the said beetle. And you know,
Beetle controller, how are you?
and here's the thing. You know exactly that time is running short and combat will ensue. That's your crackhead innate
What's the
mindset.
fight?
I pull out the line of attached strings to the little pins on each of the balls.
Yeah.
And taking this opportunity of hesitation, my greatly trusted instincts, I fling, Mr. DM, there are 8.
8 grenades?
There are 8 grenades attached to this string. And I fling the string forward,
Oh no.
detaching all 8 pins from the grenades.
8 grenades. Okay. Can you roll me 2 dexterity saving throws?
How
Not dexterity.
far away?
Dexterity. Strength saving throws. My head.
Got it.
How far away is this platform? I got the sense of a distance a lot farther than you can throw a grenade.
It's about 50 feet away. It's a massive beetle.
Yeah.
My guy's a bit stronger than he looks.
It just falls into the
Don't
pool
fail. I swear to God. Don't have to want this.
Don't worry.
It just hits me in the back of the head.
This is gonna be
I am
magic.
going to burn some little shenanigans on this.
You know.
And 17, 14.
Did you tell anybody the concept of what do you have?
No. No one here knows what the hell
He
this is.
told me to pull the pin and throw, so Kalis has some idea what's in there.
Can you, Kalis, roll me an insight check? As 7 of them get swung rapidly and just, with an arc, basically get chucked around the beetle. And one of them kind of does this long ball and just kind of hits you in the knee slightly. And just kind of...
Oh no.
It drops beside me.
Yes! The best idea... Best idea.
Can I, as a reaction, grab it and throw?
Yes, you can. You have the... Maybe it should not be...
Kalis, when he sees it, he's like picking it up, and this is a fastball special. Like,
Okay.
this is as fast as he can throw it.
Okay. Can you just
I was gonna do something, but go ahead, Kalis.
Hey, come on, roll me just a d20. I want to see how.
Yeah, pretty much.
You basically berate, you basically just fucking hit one of the beetle's limbs with that, and just kind of clicks and just kind of lands. My head. You hear a voice echo. All of you hear, "What is this foolery?" But anything you want to say?
His hands go up.
Oh God. I guess everybody except for my head roll. Dex. No, actually, just Kalis. Roll me a Dex save with disadvantage.
And here was going.
This is against an effect that I can see, right?
Yes.
The advantage is canceled out.
Nice.
The disadvantage, I mean.
Alright, buddy, just...
Oh yeah, no. Take a reroll.
Monster's a halfling, the little bastard.
That's
better
not.
than a nat one.
That's not good. Okay, let me roll something. Let's see.
How far away is it?
It's about 40 feet away, and between you and the... No, that's between Mahet and him. Between you and Mahet is probably 10, so it's 30 feet. And
the blast radius.
The blast radius.
Actually, the hell, I have 2 more of these. That's a 15.
He has 2 more. There's a 50.
Hold on a second, let me roll.
Two more flashes of
That's
genius.
the reason why I didn't make a battle map for this thing, because I knew what's gonna happen. Let me just roll something. So you threw 8 grenades, right?
Yes.
I need a calculator for this.
By the way, Kalis,
Oh my goodness, guys, look, it's Matt.
By the way. By the way, Kalis, if you weren't gonna throw the grenade, I was gonna use my held frostbite to freeze the grenade next to you. Frostbite.
But
well,
yeah, lovely explosive damage to a large
So, what happens is, give me a second, I need to roll something. Kalis, can you take 23 piercing damage? As you're like explosions, and all of a sudden, all the grenades go off as if several massive blasts individually. And essentially, the whole place becomes a massive fireball, and the entire place shakes. Kalis, however, you hear these whizzing things past your ear and close, and some of them just kind of hit you. So you get some shrapnel embedded into your skin. However, as the massive amount of fire and smoke seconds later clears up, what you basically see is a half-demolished creature spilling out whitish blood and seemingly twitching and contorting.
It's
We don't
not
got time to
the
waste it.
goal.
I run to there. I'm gonna shove
I
some. I'm
grab
gonna
I
dip my
grab
butt.
Mahet. Sorry, Mahet, you don't get a choice in this.
No,
I
roll,
grab him.
roll. You roll acrobatics. You roll acrobatics again.
Acrobatics? No,
Or
athletics.
Yeah, it's either. It's either. This is a. Damn it! You bastard!
I am specifically good at picking you up.
You.
It's good to have.
Kalis looks supremely annoyed right now as he holds Mahet up to his eyes and slowly and painstakingly pulls out a piece of shrapnel from his cheek, keeping eye contact.
The blood! Move! We have to hurry!
You all hear a voice echo. Impressive. You will do. As all of a sudden, the beetle starts to shimmer as beams of light basically exit upwards as the whole beetle turns to dust and vanishes on its entirety.
Point.
However, not only the beetle vanishes, but also the floor and everything around it. Everything starts to crumble and fall. What would you like to do?
Just the room, right? Not the corridor.
First of all, I'm glad I picked up Mahet. Else Mahet would have probably fallen too.
Oh no!
I am standing just inside the door.
Yeah. Mind you, everything is breaking and falling. It is everything is getting destroyed and kind of almost looks like the. Well, yes, the darkness rapidly approaches as everything falls, including you. Anything.
I'm gonna cast Featherfall on everyone.
Okay.
Oh wait, we're already falling? God damn, get it.
Okay, in that case,
And I am falling safely in Calcius's arm. Particularly just like
arms hanging from the end of an arm. As there's kind of a Mary Poppins look as he just kind of floats down with the head in his hand.
Well, you all fall after this awkward conversation that never occurred, I guess. And then all of a sudden, you all land in the warm sands.
The warm sand?
Yes, warm sand. All of a sudden, you feel all of your hairs, existent and non-existent, rise up unnaturally, as if you are standing somewhere unnatural. As a booming voice above you commands you, "Rise up, servants."
What a lava.
Kalis drops Mahet, who floats
falls slowly.
graciously down.
They still have Featherfall.
and
in what seems to be a sun-touched room, almost like a throne room, sits an obsidian figure 50-60 feet tall, with a mask of gold and swirling liquid gems in the said throne. It looks upon all of you, and you feel as its obsidian black, lightless eyes go through each one of you, almost like a sharp razor pokes your soul.
Kalis holding his
Can't
axe.
sign up for this.
back. There isn't a flinch from Kalis as he stares down the being.
I just want to say, daddy issues.
If I am the daddy in question, then yes.
What is that supposed to
Anyway.
mean? Anyway.
I am the father with issues.
I am the father with issues. Nevertheless, this...
Nilum would... Oh, sorry.
Yes, what would you do?
Would stand up and look at him. And who might you be?
Audible facepalm against stone.
I am the eldest son. And you are my servants.
Oh no! I thought I was back.
The time for prophecy has come to an end. The time of change has come. And you will help me. Or die in misery and pain.
One help for another.
Help you with what?
To return the world to its proper order.
And how would we do that?
It extends and not to you, but basically ahead of himself, and gives a sensation of a twirl, as all of a sudden, almost like several storms happening in mere seconds, shattering, breaking, tearing. Behind you, across the Seth throne, all of a sudden you see a massive hallway that is about several hundred feet tall and several hundred feet wide, that seems to reveal almost several miles long passage into, well, not darkness, more like a night sky, but it's different. It's weird. It's almost like the dark is gained purchase. The light is faded. There are no stars from where you see. You just see basically what seems to be a region, buildings, cities. Though you would need to walk quite a while to actually go to the end of the hallway to see what you're actually seeing. Nevertheless,
Is there any prominent like silhouettes, landmarks? That I can see?
From this location, no. You feel, the best description I can give you, you feel like ants. What ants probably feel around you, that's how you feel around here. This place is gigantic. Massive. Nevertheless, the obsidian figure looks back at you. Find my sister. Find my brother. May my sister accompany me here, and may my brother turn on the engines of rebellion.
Do they have a name?
My sister, the one that I refer, is Aliyah, the eldest of my family, and what you would call amalgamation of emotion. Do you feel sorrow? Do you feel weep as your heart gripped with the sensation of loss? He bestowed those gifts upon you in your cup.
You see Grimcloak adjust the mask when they're talking about the feeling of loss. You don't get a bit with the sensation that touched a nerve on him.
Okay, excuse me. Okay, first of all, a couple of questions. Who are you? What are you? What do you mean by natural order? Yada da da da.
Answers later. There will be time for talk, but now is the time for action. As for my brother, the second youngest, Rhett, do you feel the sensation of ingenuity? Do you feel the strive to improve? He has bestowed those gifts upon you.
His eyes sharpen, and the gaze turns into just like a piercing. He's looking, all 5 brain cells fully attending.
So he is logic, she is emotion. Kalis,
They are but pieces. That. I have many more siblings that you will recover, but at this very moment, those are the ones most important.
And why
What
can't
of
you do
you?
that yourself?
And once again, face
The
palm.
the the actual head shifts slightly towards you. Can you roll me Constitution saving throw in the helium?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mm. Yeah. Great.
Reroll.
Oh, okay.
Can you roll me a D4?
A D4?
Yes.
Right.
All of a sudden, you feel the air rapidly escape your body, your nerves shut up, and your blood feels to boil. You feel the very life essence in your soul splinter slightly. You take 3 points of exhaustion and you suffer 2/3 of your total HP. So, yes.
Yikes.
As Kalis sees like this reaction from Nihilum and
Well, does she
the
react?
eldest, she when
Hmm?
you
Very hard
take
not to
3
react to that to
levels
some
of
level.
exhaustion and
Yeah.
2/3 of your hit points, there is a reaction. You do not
I
stand
suppose-
cold-faced through that.
Go, move on.
Kalis kind of steps between the gaze of the eldest son and Nihilum. if not like,
Yeah.
though it doesn't like affect it, he is clearly trying to take the attention off of the other people and focusing it on him.
Game Club would just speak up.
Eh.
Forgive them. They do not understand what is going on. We shall leave and do this task. Really trying to be respectful because
Good.
Kalis kind of throughout this whole thing, he has been looking at his son with borderline suspicion. Like there is very little about Kalis that is like actively like believing this being. And he listens to Grimcloak, and he kind of nods slightly, as if, like, telling Grimcloak he agrees with what he said, and then says, "Perhaps another time. I do have other questions, if I may."
Swiftness of action is required now. Set forth. In my father's realm, you will not feel nor hunger nor thirst.
Oh, handy.
and I
During this whole-
Realm, he says.
guess we're heading that way then.
Where is that? He kind of looks around.
Kalis gives a nod to the eldest son and turns around, looking at the rest of the group before... You said there was a hallway, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There
Where we saw
is
the-
there is a massive hallway that looks like miles long, but as you start to walk towards it, the hallway shrinks rapidly, almost cutting it to like 100 folds. So instead of several miles of walking, it's actually like 60 feet of walking. But when you look back, you see the people who are still standing there, but where you basically got up, they look miles apart. So does the throne.
So the sensation is one of taking a mile step.
Yes.
Kalis is the first to walk down the hallway,
Grimcloak
putting
is
away
following.
his axe and walking without hesitation.
Grimcloak is following, but stays near Lady Linnea.
Okay, 32.
I pumped some. I pumped
Yeah.
cure wounds into it. Healing halfling for the win.
Good job.
Yay, thank
I
you.
I pick up a handful of sand. Look at him. May I?
There is no objection, seemingly.
I take it, put it in my pocket.
Pocket sand.
Pocket sand. Define pocket sand.
Nevertheless,
And after the
yes.
after that, to make sure that Nia has some time to rest, I'm going to
Cast. Give me just a second. I just lost the spell. Tensor's floating disc
for her to rest on.
Oh.
What level is Tensor's floating disc?
Level 2, I
1.
believe.
No, it's
Alright,
level 1.
Level 1 can hold up to 500 pounds.
I'm
But I
gonna
have-
use a...
Philip, how much do you weigh?
You can't just ask a woman how much they weigh.
Not
Over
more than
500
that.
pounds.
Put a couple horses on there. Like a
Bluster,
horse.
If you've used a second level spell slot, you gain one back. One spell slot.
It's a
Second
first level spell.
That's
Yeah,
first
but
level
if you
even.
have a second level spell slot that's used, you gain it back.
Nevertheless, you exit out, and those miles actually last less than 2 minutes as you literally leave this massive, what seems to be, how to describe this? You make to the end of the hallway, which basically leads to a massive downstairs that goes for miles. And what basically you see, hold up a second. I'm gonna change the thing. Where is it? You see a path really equal to none. A pathway that leads upwards, a pathway that leads downwards and below. Cracks in the actual path, but it's not natural of Earth, but more made with purpose. This whole place is a labyrinth. It can go up, it can go down, left, right, everywhere.
The music, I'm starting to get a very suspicion.
Yes.
Is this Stargate?
No.
I'm pretty sure I know where we are.
With that being said, I think we can call it here because it's been 3 hours, and I think you need to figure out where you want to go or what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because there will actually be, it's a massive place. Explore. Welcome to the archaeological campaign. You finally got a thick sand? Nah, dude.
Man, I was looking forward to that sand.
I know exactly where we are. I bet you.
Anyway, with that being said, I am gonna. Anything you want to say before I'm shutting the stream down with no survivors?
Do we have anything to say? Do we have like a catchphrase?
No. This isn't paladins anymore. No more smites.
I think we
Listen.
should have a catchphrase.
I mean, the anarchists are gonna have a catchphrase. You can also have a
Adventure
catchphrase.
is out there.
That is not a catchphrase.
Did somebody bring us straight?
Okay. Do the
Horrible. We're not keeping notes.
dig.
Your rapper first, diggy hole.
This is completely. This is
No.
we'll workshop it.